Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to be demonstrating for you the split method in Python. It works on text and it's pretty handy if you are wanting to work with parts of a larger body of text. So let me just demonstrate here. I'm going to start out with a sentence variable, and in that sentence I'm going to just type out a sentence here, and what we're going to do is we're going to split this sentence up into words. And to do that, you just type the name of the variable that you want to split, put a period after it, and then type the word split. So basically what you're saying is take this sentence, dot, split it, and what are you going to split it on? Well, we're not going to split it on anything specific right now. We're just going to let it split it, and by default the split method splits on white space. So let me I'm going to put in a couple of extra white space characters here. We'll click save. Let's print out the words that we get back, and then we'll come over here and we'll run this program, and you'll see that what has happened is it's returned a list of each of the words. It's a list of each of the individual words that are in that sentence. And you notice that when it runs into double spaces, it just ignores them. It treats them as if they're one space. And that's good to note, because if you ever have text that has more than one space in it, well, next to each other, it's good to know that that's not going to be an issue. You're not going to get back blank values when you do this split. Now, you can also split sentences on characters that you decide. So let's say we have a list of vehicles, and I'm going to put these in a list like this. And because we get back a list, we're going to store it in an items variable. So let's say we wanted to split this on these commas. Well, all you have to do is tell it what delimiter to look for and what to split on. So I'm going to pass it a comma, save that, and then I'm going to come over here and print out the value of whatever's in items. And if I print that, you'll see that we get back the individual words. However, notice here that the first vehicle, it just gives us back the text. But notice that the white space is included in all these other ones, and that's because the split method, if you pass it a single delimiter, it's going to split on that delimiter. So it puts car in the first position, it puts space boat in the second, and so on and so forth. Now, you're not limited to just passing in one delimiter or one character. You can pass in a substring. So if we pass in comma space and use that as our split, it's now going to split on all of these comma space sequences, and that's what it's going to give us back, just the text. So let me run that and demonstrate it. You can see that the spaces are gone out of our list now. The split method, it has an optional, well, actually it has multiple optional parameters. The delimiter, which is the first one that you pass in, that's an optional parameter, and it just gives you it just takes whatever you want to separate on. But you can pass in another one, and you can pass in the maximum number of these that you want to split on. So if we pass in a 2, it's going to give us back car, boat, and then the third item in the list is going to be train, airplane. So let's run that just to demonstrate what you do get back. So see this last element, it's not 2 separate items, it's one item that has both in it. So that's what the second parameter does. If you pass that in, it will stop splitting after it reaches that maximum. Now you can split on any string, and you can use any delimiter. Let's say we had let's say we were working with maybe a URL. Sometimes when you go to some websites, you'll see this in the address bar, something that looks like this. Now let's say we wanted to split that. These are called slugs, actually. So let's say we wanted to split that slug, that URL slug. Let's say we wanted to get the keywords out of it. Well, you could split that on the dash, and then that would return keywords. So let's print out those keywords in a list. Oh, and I forgot to rename my variable. I renamed it in the first instance, but not when I ran the method on it. So let's try that again. So now you see that we have a list of words that were being separated by these dashes. And then if I wanted to, these stop words, these little short words, with and in, they're not really keywords, but they may be in the URL. You could just loop over that and maybe have an exclude list, and if the word that you're on when you're looping over this list is in the list of exclude words, you just skip over it and don't include that in your list of keywords. So you can see that split's a very handy method to use, and I use it quite a bit when I'm working with text. Just to demonstrate something, because I've run into this before. Notice here that you have that I just put an extra dash in there. What do you think is going to happen when we run the split on that? I'm just going to leave everything else the same and run it again. Now, because there's 2 dashes here, when the method splits on these 2 dashes, it has to return something that is between them, even though nothing is there. So notice what it does is it returns an empty element in your list right here. So that's something to keep in mind when you're working with the split method. And really, I think that about covers it for the split method. So you can, it takes up to 2 parameters. The first one's the separator that you're splitting on. The second one is the maximum number of times you want to split the string that you're working on. And I encourage you to explore the split method more and just kind of play around with it and think of some creative things that you can do with it. You'll find yourself using it if you work with text at all, or if you work with files and you manipulate text, you'll find yourself reaching for this one quite a bit. So I hope that helps, and thanks for watching.